Hello, hello, hello. Hello, everybody. Adam Banks here. Welcome to Off the Cuff with Adam Banks. Getting ready to go live in 8 minutes. Episode 510. That's amazing, isn't it? 510 episodes. Okay, so I'm just trying to get everything shared. That way everybody knows what's up. Hopefully the internet connection works today, because sometimes it is off. But anyway, good show today. Good show today. Can't wait to do it. It's going to start in 7 minutes. Got a lot to talk to. By the way, did you guys hear about that armed robbery at Hollywood Casino last night? In Lawrenceburg, Indiana, there was somebody went to the casino and held it up with a gun, like the cashier, and I don't know what they wanted or what they did. Money is obviously what they wanted, but I don't really know the details. I just seen it as I was walking in. That's crazy, because I'm a frequent flyer at that casino, and just thinking about danger being that close to home is just very, very scary. I swear, man, what is wrong with people taking guns into places? I don't know. Wanting to hurt people with them. Hey, Linda. Thank you for tuning in. Good to see you. Okay. Oh, I also want to show you guys this hat. My friend Renee Cobb, who, congratulations, by the way, she won the Music Company of the Year. She made me this hat to wear. I did not get a chance to wear it at the award show, but I am very happy that she made me this hat. Thank you so much, Renee. It means a lot. Don't know where I'll wear this. Mark says I should wear it in Vegas, because he said this is a gambling hat if he'd ever seen one. So maybe Vegas. I got to get back out to Vegas first. So maybe this summer. Man, this is bedazzled. All right. Let me just see what I would look like with this thing on, though. Yeah. I mean, not really I don't know if it really goes with me. Renee, you would pull this off much better. I definitely would wear that, though, if I was gambling. Just FYI. I'm going to let's see. Put that there for now. Actually, put it over here so I don't forget it. But the hat is great. Linda, what are you laughing at? You better not be laughing at me in that hat. The show starts in 4 minutes. So just kind of waiting around. If you guys want to listen to the broadcast in its entirety, where you can hear all the clips that I play, You can do that on the radio. Go to radiolex.us, click the play button right there. It streams the show live so you can hear the broadcast in the entirety. Because sometimes when I play clips, it doesn't come across the air. So, if that's what you want to do to listen to the whole show, you can do that. That's what I'm saying, Linda. I don't want to mess up my hair either. That's why the hat's over there. You know, they say, and I don't know how true this is, but they say that usually people that wear hats are trying to like cover up bad hair, or they just have a bad hairline or something. And that's probably, I mean, most of the time that's true, because when they take their hat off, usually you're like, whoa, I didn't realize that you was going to have like a big bald spot right there. But I always said, I don't care how gray my hair gets or what color it turns. I just want to have hair when I'm older. I just want to have hair. Come on now. Daylight savings time coming up Sunday. What? I'm loving that. Okay, what time is it? Oh, shoot. Almost that time. 40 seconds. Let's go. 40 seconds. Off the cuff with Adam Banks. Live on the air. 40 seconds. 30 seconds. Right. Hi, Rita. Thank you so much for watching. Hey, Andrea.
Hi, my name is Mason from Leadership Lexington Youth. You are listening to Radio Lex, the voice of the people. WLXU 93.9 LPFM, Lexington, Kentucky.
The views expressed on this program are not necessarily the views of Lexington Community Radio or its board of directors. The views expressed are solely those of the programmers.
You are listening to Off the Cuff. Now, here's your host, Adam Banks.
Welcome, everybody, to Off the Cuff. I am Adam Banks, coming at you live from Lexington, Kentucky. Thank you for listening to the show, and thank you for tuning in to WLXU 93.9 FM. In addition to listening on the radio, you can check out our Facebook live stream at Off the Cuff with Adam Banks, or you could stream the show live from the station website at radiolex.us. I am broadcasting from the Deborah Hensley Studios here at Radio Lex on North Limestone. It is March the 7th, 2024. Folks, Sunday is daylight savings time. Get your clocks ready to be set up. We are springing forward, the best time of the year, because right now it's getting dark at 5:30, 6 o'clock. And when it gets dark and it's late outside, all you want to do is go inside, put on your pajamas, and get in the bed. But now we are on the upswing because time is going forward this Sunday. So remember to set those clocks up. You don't want to be late for anything because everything's going to be moving an hour ahead. But I want to start the show talking about the 10th annual Lexington Music Awards. I started talking about that a couple of months ago. I said I was nominated for Radio DJ of the Year. And I just want to say that the award show was amazing. It was an awesome time. I had such a great experience just being with everybody, being in the room with so much talent. It was really special. And I want to say congratulations to the winner of the Radio DJ of the Year, which was Dead Air Dennis. Congratulations to him for winning that award. He is well deserving of that award. He's been in the radio business for 30 years, and he is on every single day on classic rock. And he really does just, I don't know, he has a really good way with his audience. And people love him. And I met him personally, and he couldn't have been nicer. And it's one of those things. It's like you want to meet somebody that you're in competition with and not like them because you want to kind of just feel that rival. But then I met Dennis, and I liked him, and I was like, shoot, man, I was hoping I wasn't going to like you, but I do. But congratulations to him. Very well deserved. The event was held at the Lyric Theater. Historic. It was so nice. You felt like a star when you was there. Bill Meck was the MC of the evening, the LEX 18 weatherman. I thought he did a great job as the MC of that event. He wasn't obnoxious. He wasn't annoying. He didn't do too much. He did exactly what needed to be done as the MC of the Lexington Music Awards. He didn't make it about him. He made it about the nominees, the presenters, and just the event itself. I think Bill Meck is a great fit for the Lexington Music Awards. The reception that I got when I went to the Music Awards was definitely not what I expected. I really was kind of just taken back of how well received that I was when I went in there because I knew so many people. And I realized that I know so many people in that award show or at that award show because a lot of them has been on my show or I've interviewed them in some capacity, maybe on Renee's show, Overtones Live. It really made me feel good when I would walk in and I was greeted by all of these talented musicians and everybody wanted to just talk. And that was a great thing. I never set out to be big in the music scene, but it just, and I'm not saying I am big in the music scene, but I never did set out at all when I got into radio to be this involved in the music scene. And it just seems to have, this is where it's kind of leading me. Who would have ever thought that I would be somewhat known in the local music scene? But I just feel privileged to be in it because I can't play guitar. I can't sing worth a damn. So being able to contribute in some way really does mean a lot to me. Many of the winners have been on the show before. Congratulations to all of them. My sister got to attend the event. She came and supported me. My friend Dale came as well to show their support. It really meant a lot when they showed up. I wasn't expecting them to be there, but they told me that day that they were coming. And it felt really good to have them both there for the support. Renee, who co-hosts many episodes of Off the Cuff with me, she won for Best Music Company, Overtones Live. So congratulations to her. And it was just really cool to attend the award show. Everything was done very well. Thank you to David McLean, such a visionary for the last 10 years, making this event happen. It was special. And I have no complaints. Everything was great about the event. It was a perfect amount of time, 2 hours. It had the perfect amount of performances. Everything flowed smoothly. And I want to just say thank you, David, for creating a space where musicians and people in the music industry can get together and converse, trade contact information, and get to know one another. It was amazing, and I loved the event. Hopefully, I will be lucky enough to be nominated again to once again attend the award shows. But folks, we have a great show ahead of you today. You are listening to Off the Cuff with Adam Makes. Stick with us. We will be right back.
We are Radio Lex, WLXU 93.9 LPFM, Lexington, Kentucky.
Radio Lex has the support of vinyl sponsor Vanessa Wells Gray. Thank you.
Help keep Lexington's Recycle Center running by recycling properly. Not everything with a recycle symbol can be recycled locally. The following can go in your blue cart or mixed recycling dumpsters. Aluminum and
Oh,
steel
hey, Wade.
cans,
Hey, Valerie.
number 1 and
Good to
number
see
2
you.
plastic
Hey,
bottles,
Elaine.
jars,
Cold
and jugs,
Ohio.
caps
It's cold here in
optional.
Kentucky, too.
Paper,
Very cold.
cartons, caps optional, glass bottles and jars, and cardboard and paperboard. Download a flyer at lexingtonky.gov/recycle.
Radio Lex has the support of Groovolution. Give in to the groove. Groovolution.com.
Welcome back, everybody, to Off the Cuff. Adam Banks here with you. This is Jeremy Zeller, who is doing a rendition of God's Gonna Cut You Down by Johnny Cash. Jeremy is an absolute star here in Lexington. He was a big winner at the Lexington Music Awards. He won Male Vocalist of the Year. He won Critics' Choice and won, I believe, it was American Folk, I believe. But regardless of what it was, he won big, and Jeremy will be on the show next week. I can't wait for that. Such a talented guy, and he swept at the Lexies. Folks, basketball season is in full swing. I mean, obviously, it's almost over, as a matter of fact, because March Madness is fastly approaching. We are deep into March the 7th, which means very soon the brackets will come out and everybody will fill out their bracket, join the bracket pools, and it's the best time of the year. It really is. It's very exciting. And I can't wait to do the March Madness series again on this show. My March Madness crew will be back with me, and we will put out our first episode on Selection Sunday, and that will be March the 17th. We will start with our Selection Sunday show, and then we will post 3 new episodes after that covering the March Madness tournament. So complete coverage of the March Madness tournament will be on this show in addition to the weekly live radio show. So this is the March Madness special. But a couple of weeks ago, in light of sports and sports being the highlight of what's going on in March for everybody, we talked about the most awkward sideline interviews of all time a couple of weeks ago. And I think that a lot of people enjoyed those, and well, at least they told me they did. So I kind of want to do something very similar today, but instead of talking about awkward sideline interviews, I would like to talk about post-game interviews. When an athlete, a coach, a manager, or any sports figure sits down for a chat with reporters, you better believe that fans will be watching that because there's a lot of emotion that comes from these people when they sit down behind the mic after losing or winning a game. We've seen tears, yelling, swearing, shameless plugs, apologies, big announcements, and just morseful retirements. We've seen things in the heat of the moment because it is very, very emotional. So what I have done is I have went through a plethora of different post-game press conferences throughout time, and I have compiled a list of some of the most memorable post-game press conferences throughout time. Now, folks, you are going to be hearing many post-game press conferences coming up very soon after the March Madness games. When the March Madness games start, after every game, there's a post-game interview where the coaches get interviewed, the players get interviewed, and sometimes things can get heated because, like I've been saying, a lot of emotion is being stirred up. You imagine after losing an event or winning an event, and then all of a sudden they stick a microphone in front of your face, it's in telling what you're going to say. So let's take a look back at some of the most memorable post-game press conferences throughout time, and we will start with this one. This one comes from Jim Mora. Jim Mora talks about how his Indianapolis Colts fared in this post-game press conference, and he is so just frustrated with how his team is doing. And one of the people in the audience, a reporter, asked him if he was going to make the playoffs, and he gave this hilarious response back to the reporter when he asked him if the team was going to go to the playoffs. Take a listen.
Touchdown. 3 others were in our end of the field where they scored points. That's all I know. That's inexcusable. Inexcusable. Playoffs? Don't talk about it. Playoffs? You kidding me? Playoffs?
Playoffs. He was just stunned that somebody asked him about making the playoffs, because he said, man, with the way we're playing, we're not making nothing. It was a great, funny moment for a post-game interview. Okay, next on my list is one of the most memorable post-game interviews of all time. Comes from Dennis Green, who was the head coach of the Arizona Cardinals. And his Cardinals were beating the Chicago Bears 23-3 in the fourth quarter. And Coach Dennis Green thought he had the game in the bag, but they ended up losing the game. The Bears came back from 3-23 to beat them. 23-3, came back and beat them. And this is what Dennis Green had to say after his post-game interview.
Well, they're what we thought they were. We played them in preseason. Who the hell takes a third game in preseason like this bull? We played them in the third game. Everybody played 3 quarters. The Bears are who we thought they were. That's why we took the damn field. Now, if you want to crown them, then crown their ass. But they are who we thought they were. And we let them off the hook.
He let them off the hook, but they thought, he knew they were who they thought they were. And I thought that was funny. But gosh almighty, 23-3, are you serious? Okay, next on my list comes from the OSU head coach, and this is Mike Gundy. After the game, Gundy strode up to the podium with a copy of a newspaper in his hand, and he used that paper to start off his press conference, and he was mad at the reporters who wrote the article in the newspaper because the article was attacking one of his players. So he was not happy with the way his players were getting bullied in the paper. And Mike Gundy went to the podium and expressed his frustrations. And because of his frustrations and because of his rant, it goes on my list as one of the most memorable post-game moments of all time. Take a listen.
Because it's garbage. And the editor that let it come out is garbage. Attacking an amateur athlete for doing everything right. And then you want to write articles about guys that don't do things right and downgrading the ones that do make plays. Are you kidding me? Where are we at in society today? Come after me. I'm a man. I'm 40.
Come at me. I'm a man. I'm 40. So I guess you're definitely a man when you're 40 years old. I love that. I'm 40. I'm a man. Or how do you say it? I'm a man. I'm 40. I love that. I love that. Next on my list, folks, comes from Kevin Borseth, who was the head women's basketball coach for the Michigan Wolverines. And he starts off his press conference as, basically, he starts off his press conference taking this piece of paper that he had with all the stats on it, and he slammed it up against the podium, and then he just went off about how bad his team is doing. And he just goes on this rant of how bad the lack of offensive rebounds was, and this rant because of that rant, it cemented this press conference as one of the most memorable post-game press conference of all time in sports. Take a listen at Kevin Borseth as he goes to the podium after the Michigan women's basketball game to give his press conference. Take a listen. I'm telling you what, during this whole rant, if he asked if there was any questions, I would definitely raise my hand to ask him a question, him being this mad, because it's untelling the response that I would get. This is a reporter's dream to have a coach act like this at a press conference. Yeah, and you also should have took a chill pill before you went to the podium. Okay, next on my list is one of the most memorable post-game press conferences of all time. Comes from the baddest man on the planet, Iron Mike Tyson, who gave a post-fight interview. And in his post-fight interview, he went on this big rant talking about Lennox Lewis and how he was going to just basically eat his children. Take a listen at Mike Tyson talking about Lennox Lewis after the post-game fight. He wants to eat his children. Mike Tyson's always a little crazy, but the thing about Mike Tyson is he's saying all these crazy things, and what are you going to say back to him? It's not like you can tell him to shut up, or you can tell Mike Tyson to take a chill pill, unless you want to keep your teeth. If you don't really care about your teeth or the bones in your face, then yeah, talk back to Mike. But if Mike's going on his rant, you just kind of got to let him go. So that's why he gets away with every single thing he says, like that. Okay, next on my list as one of the most memorable post-game press conference interviews of all time, you know you have to have Bobby Knight, the head coach of Indiana, on this list. He's got several different post-game press conferences that I could have put on this list. He's very colorful with his language, and he pulls no punches. He's very uncensored whenever he goes up to the microphone. But I love this particular press conference because Bobby Knight was asked a question about one of his players, and the reporter was asking Bobby Knight how he thought this player would improve going into next year, and if he thought that this player would be better next year. And Bobby Knight really hated that question because he's thinking to himself, how am I supposed to know how the future is going to look? And he takes like a little crystal glass that he has sitting beside of him, and he starts pretending like it's a crystal ball, and he's completely humiliating the reporter during the post-game interview. Take a listen. Another classic Bobby Knight clip. Okay, coming up next on the list, and finally, the last one that I will put on the list as one of the most memorable post-game interviews of all time is the It involves the Kentucky basketball coach, John Calipari, but this was back in his days at UMass, and that is when UMass had a big rival with Temple University, and John Chaney was the head coach at Temple University. And John Calipari's team at UMass beat John Chaney, who was apparently really good that year, maybe even number one. But John Calipari is giving his post-game press conference, and John Chaney busts through the door, interrupts the post-game press conference and is very visibly upset. And he ran over to where John Calipari was doing his post-game press conference, got right in his face and was pointing his fingers. And he was telling John Calipari that he was going to kill him. And he said, "You remember that, John, when I see you, I will kill you." And he was screaming it to the top of his lungs. Take a listen. Back when John Chaney got into a heated exchange with John Calipari during a post-game press conference.
Three class guys, and you pick them out and single them out. You can't get any of them in front of the guy. Shut up, guys. You can't get in front of the guy. You remember that. When I see you, I'll kick your ass. Kick your ass. You're a good team, and you don't need that edge. That's why I was telling my kid to knock your f***ing kid in the mouth. Standing there pushing in the game.
Some things never cease to amaze me. I'm not going to say anything right now because I don't want to say the wrong.
That John Chaney is such a class act. Such a class act. But ladies and gentlemen, that pretty much wraps up my list there of some of the most memorable post-game press conferences of all time. I'm sure there is a ton that you're probably thinking that I left off the list. And if there was one that you're thinking of, put it up on the show thread, and I would love to talk about it. But ladies and gentlemen, stick with us. We still have lots more Off the Cuff with Adam Banks coming at you live after these words. We'll be right back.
Hi, I'm DJ Walt C. of the Time Capsule Show. You're listening to Radio Lex, the voice of the people. WLXU 93.9 LPFM, Lexington, Kentucky.
Ne laissez pas le virus vous coûter cher, les fêtes de fin d'année. Protégez la santé de vos amis et de votre famille. Faites-vous vacciner contre la grippe et la Covid-19 ou recevez une dose de rappel. Lavez-vous les mains, couvrez-vous la bouche lorsque vous toussez. Portez un masque dans les lieux fréquentés. Si
Y'all know what that's saying because I have no idea.
Restez chez vous. Pour trouver un lieu de vaccination contre la grippe ou la Covid-19, consultez le site web vaccine.gov ou appelez-le 1-800-232-02-33.
The only way that Radio Lex can deliver independent
y'all know
radio for
your boy
Lexington is
right
with
there.
the help of contributing listeners like you. Over 160 of your friends and neighbors volunteer to create original, hyper-local programming 24/7 in English on WLXU 93.9 FM and in Spanish on WLXL 95.7 FM. Your contribution goes directly to cover our expenses so that we can continue to bring you the voice of the people. Support Radio Lex today. Visit radiolex.us/donate and support Lexington's community radio right now.
Substance use disorder and addiction is so isolating.
Hey, Sharon.
And so,
Good to see you. How are you?
In recovery, hope must be loud.
If you're watching, just say hello. I'd like to see. It won't let me see who's viewing. It just lets me. I only know if you're viewing if you comment on the video.
When we learn the power of hope, recovery is possible. Find out how at startwithhope.com. Brought to you by the National
How are
Council on
things with
Mental
you,
Health
Sharon?
and
Good?
And the Ad Council.
Radio Lex
Good.
has the support of vinyl sponsor
Good to hear.
Susie Esquivel, realtor with Allied Realty. Thanks, Susie.
Welcome back, everybody, to Off the Cuff. Adam Banks here with you. If you're a big Olivia Rodrigo fan, you're in luck because she will be in Lexington making a stop at Rupp Arena as a part of her Guts tour. She'll be here on Wednesday, July the 24th. Oh no, Wednesday. Odd night to have a concert, but I guess that somebody's got to take that Wednesday. Might as well be Lexington. Here's the thing about fans of musicians. If they really are a big fan of you, they don't care what night you're performing. They're going to go. But she will be in Lexington. I got to get media passes to that. I told you, I'm not really a big fan of her music. Her music is cool. I just find Olivia Rodrigo so incredibly hot. And I know it's so weird for me to say that because I'm like 2 times her age, but she's of age. She's 21. Folks, the Oscars is this weekend, March the 10th, and it will be at 7 p.m. on ABC, an hour earlier than it usually is, probably because the Oscars always goes over time, and people are sick of staying up all night with it and not getting to the bed till 12. So they decided to push it back and make it, or push it forward and make it at 7 p.m. instead of 8. And we'll do a complete review of the Oscars next week because that's really when we want to talk about that, because we can talk about the winners, who won, what happened. But yes, the Oscars is coming up, and I love movies. You guys know that. I love movies. I love television. A lot of the topics that we talk about on this show is related a lot to movies and television. And movies has become, and television, they have become a part of our language. They've become a part of our culture. The music that we hear in movies, we put it in our own lives. The quotes and the sayings and the language that we hear in movies, we apply it in our own lives. There are a lot of common phrases that were invented by a movie or a TV show, and you probably didn't even know it. For instance, did you guys know that the term friend zone came from the show Friends? How often do you hear the word friend zone? Or how often do you use it yourself? Friend zone. Friend zone wasn't even a thing until Friends on television came along. They coined it in an episode, and the particular episode they coined it in was in season 1 called The Blackout. So Friends is the one who coined the phrase and invented the phrase friend zone. So there are a ton of common phrases invented by either a movie or a TV show. And I have a ton here that I would like to go over with you. Of course, friend zone, I said. But did you know that the phrase Debbie Downer didn't come about until 2004 during an SNL live skit? It was a character based off a woman who was always just down in the dumps and very negative about everything while on vacation. And it was because of an SNL skit that people use Debbie Downer. The term bucket list wasn't really popularized until 2007 with the movie with Morgan Freeman and Jack Nicholson. They're the ones that really popularized and made it go into pop culture. Bucket list. The word spam, as in junk emails and repeated unwanted content, comes from Monty Python's Flying Circus. It says here that the sketch, the term is based on, occurs in a cafe where the only thing a person can buy is spam. Later, fans of the show would repeatedly send lyrics from the song in the sketch to message boards. This eventually became known as spamming. Gaslighting comes from the 1938 play Gaslight, which was adapted into 2 movies in the 1940s. The word MILF, you guys can use your own imagination as to what that stands for. The word MILF was popularized by American Pie. And why not? American Pie, a cult classic, great movie. Wardrobe malfunction was invented when Justin Timberlake exposed Janet Jackson's breast during the halftime show of the Super Bowl. And everybody remembers the infamous moment when he ripped off her shirt and she was exposed. And it was because of that event that people use the word wardrobe malfunction, or the phrase wardrobe malfunction. 1984's movie Ghostbusters was the first to use their toast as a way to someone is finished or a way to kind of describe as someone being finished or in serious trouble. Like, that chick is toast. That's exactly what he said in the movie Ghostbusters. He ad-libbed the line, all right, this chick is toast. And because of that, we now have their toast as an actual phrase, thanks to Ghostbusters. Daffy Duck invented the word Nimrod to mean an idiot or fool. Though many think it was Bugs Bunny, no, it was Daffy Duck that invented the word Nimrod. And it was first uttered in 1947. So if you ever heard somebody being called a Nimrod, just know that they got it from Daffy Duck. That is who created that phrase. Saturday Night Live invented the phrase mom jeans back in 2003. And I love that one because it's such a great explanation as to what those jeans look like. But Tina Fey on SNL is the one who really coined that phrase mom jeans, because she made the sketch and she was talking about these jeans that she had on in the sketch, and that's where mom jeans come from. Using ribbit as a frog sound comes from an episode of Gilligan's Island, which is the first recorded use of the word ribbit. I mean, they use that sound to describe what a frog sounds like for the first time in the show Gilligan's Island. But now that I think about it, is that even what a frog sounds like? Ribbit? Does a frog even sound like that? I don't know. Staycation. That word staycation was invented by the mail fraud episode of Corner Gas in 2005. It says here that it wasn't added to the Merriam-Webster dictionary until 2009. The term brainiac came from the Superman character, not the other way around. It says his name is a mixture of a brain and a maniac, according to the Merriam-Webster dictionary. So brainiac come from the movie Superman. So a lot of the common phrases that we use and a lot of the famous sayings that we say comes from television and movies. That's why you gotta love movies, man. Even if you're not a movie fan, you're not a TV fan, it's in your life every day. Things that happen in those television shows, things that happen in those movies, it's a part of pop culture. People carry that stuff that they hear and see on movies and television into the real world. So you got to appreciate the industry of film and television. All right, folks, I feel like this is a great time to take Off the Cuff's Song of the Week break, and I love this song right here. It's an oldie but good one, and I say an oldie and it's only like 3 years old. People get really frustrated when I call a song an oldie that's not even 10 years old. This ain't even 3, but this is Sia with Unstoppable. Stick with us, we'll be back. Oh, Ivy Dog from Andy Griffith. That is great. That is great. I forgot about that. Let's see, what else do we have here? Let's see. I'm so glad, Elaine, that you finally made it on the live, because you've been trying to get on it, and now you're finally here. So thank you so much. I love Andy Griffith. Where can you watch that show at now? Is Nick at Night even still a thing? Because I remember a lot of those old shows I would watch on Nick at Night or TV Land. TV Land. Yeah, TV Land is great. You know what's wild, though, about TV Land is that the shows that I grew up watching are now considered TV Land shows. So like Fresh Prince, Saved by the Bell, Family Matters, Roseanne, all that stuff is old, considered old and classic television now, which is, oh my God, it's bizarre. Tubi is good. Tubi is real good. I love me some Tubi. The commercials get a little annoying though. Dumbbell 1920 stupid. Really? The word stupid come from dumbbell? These are great, guys. I had no idea the word stupid come from dumbbell. Was that a TV show or a movie? Dumbbell. Oh, dumbbell. Dumbbell. So many great comments on the show thread, people talking about different phrases that were created from a movie or a TV show. Sharon on the show thread says that the word dumbbell was created from a 1920 movie, or the movie Dumbbell from 1920 created the word stupid. Is that what you're saying, Sharon? And then let's see, I Be Dog, Elaine says, came from Andy Griffith, I Be Dog. I wonder if people still use that phrase, I Be Dog. Love Andy Griffith, though. Let's get to off the cuffs quote of the week. And this week, our quote of the week comes from Haley Flanagan Davis, who was an American theatrical producer and director, playwright, and author, best known as director of the Federal Theater Project, a part of the Work Progress Administration. So this week, our quote of the week comes from Haley, and the quote is this: "The power of radio is not that it speaks to millions, but that it speaks intimately and privately to each one of those millions." And I wanted to make a quote this week about radio because Off the Cuff just celebrated its 10-year anniversary. It was a big weekend for me in radio, and I just felt like it was appropriate to use a radio quote because at heart, this is what I do. This is my identity. I have such a love affair with radio. I think it's the coolest medium in the world. And one of the things that makes it so endearing and so great is that you have to be yourself on the radio. On TV, it's easy to go out there and fake a smile and fake pretend to be somebody. You can't really fake your personality on the radio. All people hear is you and only you, and a fakeness is going to come out. So I love radio for that reason. And yes, it has the potential to speak to millions of people thanks to streaming now. People can stream the show from anywhere in the world. But what's great about it is even though, yes, I'm talking to maybe thousands of people right now, I'm speaking to each and every one of you intimately. For instance, if you're in your car by yourself, yes, I'm speaking to hundreds of you. I'm speaking to maybe thousands of you. But you know what? I'm also just speaking to just you. You. I'm speaking to you, Elaine. I'm speaking to you, Sharon. I'm speaking to you, Wade. I'm speaking to you, Rebecca. I'm speaking to you, Kimberly. I'm speaking to you, Tammy. I'm speaking to you, Nikki. I'm speaking to all of you all. All of you all that's on my show thread right now. I'm speaking to you individually. So that's what's great about radio. You can have just an intimate listening session with just the one guy on the radio. Yes, I'm speaking to thousands at once, but I'm also just speaking to you. So folks, the quote of the week is, the power of radio is not that it speaks to millions, but that it speaks intimately and privately to each one of those millions. Maybe I say something that just clicks in your head. Maybe I tell a story or something about my life that you relate to, an experience that I went through, something that you can latch on to. if I can do that, that is special. That is great. We've made a connection. We've made something real happen. And that can happen with you and the radio guy if you just listen, because it's just us. It's just me and you right now. That's it. It's just me and you. All right, folks, we still have one more segment to go. Stick with us. We will be right back.
The Lexington Tool Library offers a collection of common tools. Borrowing is open to all members, regardless of ability to pay. The Lexington Tool Library aims to reshape the relationship between ownership, community, and consumption. Some of the resources available include power tools, hand tools,
Radio is the theater of the mind.
gear, gardening, lawn, and landscaping tools. To learn more, you can visit lextools.org.
No, yes, it is nice to see a face with the radio.
Founders Circle member CHI St. Joseph Health. CHI St. Joseph Health.org.
Welcome back, everybody, to Off the Cuff. Adam Banks here with you. Last segment of the hour. Man, the show thread is on fire today. So many great comments. Valerie says, radio is the theater of the mind. I love that quote, and it truly is. Elaine says, it's great to be able to see a face with the voice. Thank you, Facebook. Yes. Back in the day, you used to not be able to see what the radio guy looked like. You just had to imagine. So I wonder, if you just listened to me on the radio and you see me, am I what you pictured? Am I what you imagined? Sometimes you're disappointed. Sometimes you see a person and they look exactly like you imagined it. It's like reading a book. You know, when you read a book, you have to create in your mind what the characters look like. When they're talking about a house sitting by the water and there's two dogs running around, you have to imagine in your mind what that looks like. TV, movies, it gives it away. You already see it. When you read, you have to imagine. And I relate a lot of that stuff to radio because it's very similar. You have to imagine and create in your mind what things look like. But nowadays, in 2024, we have Facebook, and it allows the audience to actually get a sneak peek behind the scenes. Now, the Facebook is very raw. You get the raw audio. You don't get the full broadcast in its entirety, but it's better than nothing. I would have given anything to have seen what Casey Kasem looked like back in the day. I had to wait till he came on Saved by the Bell to know what he looked like. I had no idea what Paul Harvey looked like until I Googled him to see what he looked like. Paul Harvey looked exactly like I pictured in my head. Sure did. Folks, I stopped at the gas station and I got my coffee. Normally I go to McDonald's. Today I decided to stop at a gas station, and I was taken back when I stopped at the gas station because one of the women working there I know, and she is a full-time school teacher, and she said that she just got off work and she's working her second shift. This is her second job. And I said, why do you have a side hustle when you're a school teacher? And she said that she didn't make enough money to live and support her family just off her teacher salary. And don't get me started on that. I think that it's ridiculous if anybody has to work two jobs in this country when you're working full time. I think it is ridiculous to have to work a side hustle because you can't make ends meet with a full-time job on minimum wage. Okay, what's the minimum wage here? $7.75 or $7.25? If that's what our minimum wage in this country is going to be, then that's what it should take to survive on. And it's ridiculous that people will work a 40-hour-a-week job on minimum wage and still isn't able to pay their bills. I think that's silly here in the greatest country in the world. I do. It just blows my mind. It is very disturbing if you think about it. There are a lot of things that are considered common practice in this country that we do all of the time that's just socially acceptable. But if you really step back and think about it, it's very disturbing. For instance, having to work a side hustle, that's disturbing. Nobody should have to work a side hustle in this country. I hate that. Working yourself to death is not what we are meant to do in this world. But so I started thinking of some common practices that are actually disturbing if you step back and think about it. And one of those things is working a side hustle. I hate that. Another thing is how poorly people take care of their beginner pets, like a fish or a hamster or a gecko. I knew a guy who had a fish, and it was a betta fish, and he had it in a little tiny tank. And he thought that was okay because the betta fish was small. But in reality, a betta fish needs to have a big tank. All fishes really need big tanks. It is very poor to keep a fish in a small tank. Would you like to be in a small fish boat? No, I don't think so. But if you sit back and think about it, so many people have little fish tanks in their house. Quite disturbing. Getting puppies for Christmas as a gift, just to turn around and re-gift them. I think don't get people puppies for Christmas. I think that is one of those things that is got disaster written all over it. Because one, that's a big daggone surprise to get somebody. A puppy? A puppy? That comes with responsibility. That's not just one of those things that you can throw in the closet and forget about. You have to keep taking care of it. So you need to make sure before you buy somebody something like that they are willing to take care of it, because what happens is when they get it, they just put the puppy back to the shelter. And that puppy, that's not fair to it. And it's quite disturbing that happens so many times. Another thing that I find quite disturbing in this world that we do, that's pretty common practice, is in the school systems, we have this thing called zero tolerance, where basically there's no tolerance for fighting. If you fight, you get sent off to detention or you're expelled, regardless if you didn't start the fight or you were just taken up for yourself. There's a zero tolerance policy. I think that's stupid. Stupid. If you're defending yourself, that's not considered fighting. It really isn't. When you are actively being the bully and you're actively making problems and causing issues, you're the one that needs to get punished. What are you supposed to do? Just let someone stand there and beat your face off because you're afraid of getting in trouble because you swung back? No, the zero tolerance practice is very disturbing, and that I feel like, should change. I think that people posting cringe, freak out videos of themselves crying over something like a breakup or crying over somebody dying is very cringy, because it's not authentic. It's not like you were caught on camera doing that. You actively set up the camera to show yourself spaz out or freak out over a death or freak out over something that made you cry. It's very cringeworthy and disturbing. I hate that. Like when these nurses will get on TikTok and they'll post about them being sad because they lost their favorite patient and they're crying over their patient being lost. Yeah, you still had to set up your phone. You had to check your lighting, check your hair, check your makeup. You had to make sure that the background looked nice. All for you to freaking cry, get on there and get your likes. You narcissistic fool. You narcissistic fool, you. The cost of medical coverage in the United States is another common practice that I find very disturbing, because how in the heck are we supposed to survive in America and also pay health insurance? It is ridiculous that vision is separated from health, dental is separated from health. The last time I checked, our eyeballs and our teeth were a part of our medical care. So it's another just kind of crooked thing that the insurance companies do, is making us have all of these insurance premiums. It's ridiculous, especially in the country that we live in. I think that sheer amount of people that use their phone while behind the wheel is another disturbing common practice. Every trip when you get out on the road is a roulette game. You're playing with your life. I see someone nearly drift into my lane almost every time I get on the road. And I know what it is. They're not drinking. They're not smoking. They're on their phone, which is 10 times worse than any of that, because you are at least the thing is when you have your phone down in your phone, you're not impaired. You're completely blind from the road because your face is down looking at the phone. Wow. You're going to cause an accident. And it's just so disturbing. And you could hit somebody head on, you could kill yourself. And it's so disturbing how common that practice is. I think another thing that's pretty disturbing, that's pretty common practice now in this country, is expecting people to be contactable 24/7 and acting like someone is rude if they don't respond promptly to your phone call or message. If you remember, if you're old enough to remember, it was very common practice to call somebody, get their answer machine, leave a message, and wait for them to respond. And sometimes it could be a day or two later. But now, because we live in such an instant world where we have to have things at our fingertips so quickly, we expect when we call somebody for them to respond quickly, text back immediately, call back immediately. No, the common practice of expecting people to be contactable 24/7 is bad, and it's disturbing, and I hate it. I think another thing that I find disturbing that we do as common practice here in this country is when restaurants try to put the salary of their employees on the customers that attend that restaurant, also known as tipping. Restaurants pay their employees like $2-3 an hour because they're expected to make most of their money off of tips. So basically, these restaurant employee or owners are relying on the customers to pay for their employees to work. Tipping, don't get me started on that soapbox. We're one of the only countries in the entire world that really puts so much emphasis on tipping. But I think it's so silly because it shouldn't be up to us to pay these workers' salary. You know why these restaurant workers get so frustrated when they get poor tips is because that's how they make their paycheck. But they wouldn't get so mad at us if the restaurant employees were actually paying their bills. Seems quite simple. And there are a ton of common practices that we do and we do every day here in the world that's disturbing. But folks, we have to kind of set back sometimes, and we've got to look around and ask ourselves, is this the right thing? Is this the right thing? All right. That pretty much wraps up another episode of Off the Cuff. If you like what you heard today, you'll probably like our other episodes. All of our episodes are posted on podcasts. We're on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube, or wherever you can stream podcasts. We release new episodes every Thursday from 4 to 5 right here on WLXU 93.9 FM. You can follow the show on social media at The Adam Banks. You can follow me on social media at The Adam Banks. So the show's social media is Off the Cuff with Adam Banks. Me, personally, is The Adam Banks. Folks, we will be back same time, same place, right here on Radio LX 93.9 FM. I'm Adam Banks, and this is Off the Cuff. You are listening to the King of Radio. I will see you next Thursday. All right, guys, thank you so much for tuning in. I love each and every one of you. I will see you next week.